Hi, here's a presentation on mindful eating. So, mindful eating is paying attention to our food on purpose, moment by moment, without judgment. So, it's about taking a little bit more time to think about what we're eating, why we're eating, and focusing on our awareness of the food and the actual experience of the food. So, we're not thinking about the calories, the carbohydrates, the fats, the protein, the macronutrients. We're not thinking about tracking. We are thinking about the awareness of the food and how it makes us feel. So this is a little challenge with a raisin. So if you can pause this now and go and grab a few raisins or a piece of dried fruit or anything, really, and then bring it back. Okay, so how to eat. This is about eating the raisins mindfully. So you put your raisins or your chosen food in your hand and you start to explore them with your senses. So imagine as if you've never seen a raisin before and discover everything you can. Turn them around with your fingers, look at the colours, look at the texture, soft, hard, coarse, smooth. Put the raisins up to your nose, not up your nose, up to your nose, and take note of any aroma, the smell. Put them next to your ear. Can you hear any sound? Then put the raisins in your mouth, no more probably than about 3. And then notice the sensation of your mouth starting to water as you start to chew them. Chew the raisins slowly and with intention, so you're aware of chewing them until they are nearly gone. When you are ready to swallow, note the sensations of swallowing the raisins. For example, sensing them move down your throat and into your esophagus and on the way to your stomach. Visualize this happening and just imagine the energy and the nourishment coming from that raisin or those raisins going into your body, providing your body with that nourishment. So it's intentional eating, mindful eating. And then you take a moment to congratulate yourself for doing it. So you could do that with any piece of food. Basically, you have your food and you're more aware of it rather than just quickly. Have you had those times, those lunches when you're literally going, or the dinners when you're standing up and you're going from one thing to another? So think of that experience. Quite a lot find it a bit weird just to slow down and focusing on the food. But actually, if you repeat it more and more without me speaking to you, you'll then start to notice a difference between eating with awareness and in a mindful and present way. And then compare that to eating in a more mindless, habitual, when you're just eating, going through the motions. So try to practice this at your breakfast, your lunch, or dinner. Notice any differences in your sensations. Then you might become more aware of the flavors, the textures, the temperatures, how it makes you feel, being aware of how you are nourishing your body with food. So you're bringing your full attention to the act of eating as much as you can, rather than just rushing through it. So this also helps to bring you in the here and now of the moment of the eating. So here's a few little techniques. So first of all, it comes back to your planning and your shopping. Shop smart. So don't shop when you're hungry, basically. Try and take away out any processed foods from your home. So you have got healthy, nutritious foods in your house that you can have. Try and slow down when you're eating, and you might actually find that you eat less and you don't need as much as you previously did. Pretend you're enjoying your meal as if you're wine tasting, when you're savoring it and noticing the subtle flavors and textures, which you might have missed otherwise. Take the time to enjoy each bite and flavor the combination that you actually experience when you're eating. So try and come away from the business of life, from the screen, the television, the phone. Remove your distractions and eat, and focus on that process of eating. And more times than not, you actually find that you need to eat less, because you're more aware of what you're eating and you're more aware of how your body is responding to the food. So you're tuning into the food, you're tuning in your sensations. So by doing this, you've got some real benefits of reducing stress. You've had some time out, time away from the screen. Increase enjoyment of the eating. We have to eat every day. It is a daily occurrence of eating. And so often we forget the importance of it, and we forget why we're actually doing it. So increase your enjoyment. Your digestion is easier because you are more likely sitting down at a table and you're taking your time to digest, not just throwing it down. Very often you'll find you'll reduce calories because you eat less, because you're savoring it more. Therefore you lose weight. Therefore there is less binge eating, because you're not just focusing on the calories, you're focusing on the food itself. So you are controlling the food instead of it controlling you. Enjoy it, and then that will bring the reduced food cravings. So it's quite hard to go from the switch from mindless to mindful eating. So your mindless, here's a comparison. Your mindless is when you're eating as you go. Mindful is when you're focusing your attention on the food. Mindless, you're eating because you're feeling emotional, you're tired, you're stressed, you're lonely. Mindful eating is when you're physically hungry. Am I hungry? Yes or no? Mindless, quite often it's the junk, it's the comfort food, because that's the quick go-to. You're mindful, you're eating slowly, you're savoring every bite. That can be for those treats as well, and you're likely to have less treats. It is very easy to eat a big family pack of crisps if you are just aimlessly eating through. But as soon as you start thinking and savoring the taste, a little small ball will do. So again, less calories. And mindless eating, you eat until all the food is gone. You haven't really tapped into how your body is feeling. But mindful, you're listening to your body signals, and you're listening to your body of how you're full. So our daily ritual of eating actually becomes something much more special. So you're really thinking about how your food's making you feel. So you can start really taking a little bit more notice of this, how you feel after the food, 5 minutes after, an hour, several hours after. How do you feel? So is there a link with that type of food? Is there a food that you feel more nourished? Is there a food that you feel more energetic? Is there food that makes you feel a bit sluggish? If we become more aware of these reactions, we're less likely to eat if there are foods. So for example, quite often people find too much bread, they can make you feel a bit bloated and sluggish. If you become more aware of this, you'll probably eat less bread or have an alternative that doesn't make you feel sluggish and bloated. So start to think about the link between the food and the feeling. So eat as you do, and use the food the amounts of times, and then add a bit of mindfulness into it and start to see the differences. A good way to do is keep a record of what you're eating, so in your plan, and then see how you feel afterwards, how you feel 5 minutes after, and just make little notes. So say you had your breakfast and you had wholemeal toast, egg, and avocado. How do you feel after? And then at lunchtime, say you had a big bowl of pasta. How do you feel after? Dinner, you had protein and full of veggies and salad. How do you feel after that? So it's just thinking, how do you feel? You're energized or tired? Do you feel alert or sluggish? You could keep these notes on your phone in a notebook, but just it's all about heightening our awareness of our meals and how we feel and how it affects our mood and our well-being. So experiment with the different food combinations. So as I said before, it might find that carb heavy meals become something you need to avoid, but food is going to affect us all differently. It's all about genetics and lifestyle. So have a bit of trial and error just to see what works best for you, but it's really living in the moment, taking the time to have your food. Try not to eat on the run. Take your time, savor the taste. What does that food mean to you? How is it going to help you? How is it going to nurture you? Mix and match the different foods. See how it feels to eat less food more often. How does it feel to exclude meat? How does that make you feel? Removing certain foods from your diet. Trying different combinations of food, maybe just protein and veg. You still get a lot of carbs in there as well through the veg, but high protein might help you with those feelings. So finally, slow down, focus on the present, pause to enjoy your food. When you feel hungry, Take 10 slow, deep breaths. Just get yourself ready for that moment and think, what am I hungry for? How hungry am I? Also, do you need to have a drink? So, practicing mindfulness is going to be different for everyone, but have a go and allow it to slow you down. Allow yourself to focus on the present moment and notice what you're feeling. Keep asking yourself, how do I feel after this? 5 minutes after, an hour after, 3 hours, and then you're going to be more aware of your own specific nutritional needs. We all need different nutritional needs. And then you'll start to measure out your meals and your snacks, how they feel with your well-being. So yes, we can calorie track. Yes, we can look at macronutrients. But the next step is really focusing in on how that food makes us feel. If you are really focusing on this, you will be able to pick up those hunger cues. You will be able to pick up when you are full. You will be able to pick up when you're eating because you feel emotional. Is there something else you could do to help those emotional triggers? So at the end of the day, we want to feel energetic. We want to feel great in our moods. We want to sleep well. So slow down and focus on the present to help this. I hope this has helped. Let me know how you get on.